Hello, let me do a quick check-in on Hstry by Darcy Littlebadger, which last night I couldn't remember the name of the author. Since then, I've looked into her. I believe it is pronounced as her. I should double check that as well. Princeton educated, and indeed affiliated with a tribe, the Apache. Uh, I can't. These are all the things that in a formal book review I would look up. I will have on my fingertips, hopefully at the time, if I do a formal one or if I just do one for myself here on my private channel. It's a so this is the book. I'm listening to it on audiobook. The print book has illustrations. Seems like the illustrations are just at the front. They're at the front of the chapter headings of each book to give it that. Well, because it's the young get to have pictures, while the old don't get to have pictures, which sucks. So a good hunk of money put into this book if you're going to have illustrations in your novel, but probably because it is targeted at a younger audience. If the protagonist is 17, then you're probably assuming that they're targeting it to like 12 or 13-year-olds, I would guess, mid-grade. That might explain some of the kind of rather stilted language in it, though I would still say the stilted language just seems like somebody who hasn't quite got the hang of writing. Though, it's obviously she's Darcy Littlebadger is a geoscientist and has published multiple books, so it's way more up on me, but has a tendency to use phrases where saying like, oh, he was just being sarcastic. I should have realized he was just being sarcastic. It's like Ellie should have realized that his intent was not to be sarcastic. There's something about just rather formal language. I mean, maybe it's told from the point of geeks, but yeah, it's kind of rough that way. It is an interesting story. I was positing before, with the presence of magic, does this mean that the really tragic, horrific history of colonialism didn't happen in North America? It didn't happen to the ancestors of such people as Ellie in this book? I think that's answered by that she recalls that she goes into a fossil store in the chapter that I've just been listening to, and the lady there is like, "We've got a security camera. We're watching you." And it's like, oh, and she specifically was singled out in this, what I'm assuming is a fairly white neighborhood, to be followed around the mall by security there. So she's being racially profiled, which makes me think that from that you can fill in that all the shittiness that has happened to Native people and to Black people and all that is probably still very much present in this world. It's the urban fantasy where it's here. It's just like contemporary society, but there's magic in it, and that magic, for some reason, whatever reasons are put forward by the author, haven't radically reshaped society or its history or its prejudices in this case. So that's just to answer that question, and I can understand why authors want to do that for an urban fantasy. It's like you want to play around with the real world, you want to discuss and interact with what's actually happening here. You don't want to create a whole new fantasy world. That is not your intent. That would turn it more Tolkien than it would be Jim Butcher, I guess. So they're trying to keep it contained in a way so that they can still have that we're in a real world situation that just happens to be magic in it as well. All right, I will leave it there. More videos later.